What's up, guys?
Hey everyone.
It's Californian.
Yes.
It is Friday. Got to get down on Friday.
You're just one after another of awesome jokes. So just so I get some updates on what's happening in life. I mean, the tournament's going great. Last night we did go and see
Pirates of the Caribbean. On Stranger Tides. It was epic.
Good. It was pretty good. Yeah,
It was my favorite of the four.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, look into it. It's pretty good.
Jack Sparrow.
Do not look into Priest.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Do
Priest
not
was
look into
bad.
Priest. Priest is horrible. But yeah, I guess that's not really here or there. However, Pirates of the Caribbean does hold a sort of special place in my heart, at least, because of WoW. In some of the fights, there's one
We
fight
would play the soundtrack
that
over.
took place over two boats, and
It was called Gunship Battle,
Yeah.
and we would blast Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack throughout the whole fight, and it was epic.
by we blasting we mean our friend Michael, who's in the room now whispering over to me, mention me, as if he doesn't want
Would
any
you like to make a
friends
guest
anymore.
appearance?
Here, come over.
No,
here.
no,
Come over
okay.
here.
I don't wanna-
Just say hey. This is Michael.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. All right. Go back.
I'm being a good
just
friend,
go
staying out of
back-
the way.
Just go back to Pokemon. That is a nerd. He is a nerd. I do not associate.
I'm proudly so.
Yeah.
Proudly so.
All right. But yeah. So yesterday we talked. We sort of started getting into WoW and sort of the whole leveling thing and how that was, and how it's sort of competitive between us.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about the whole raiding.
Branching
aspect.
out, not competing against us now and Michael and Colton, but now competing against the rest of the world
Of
of
Warcraft.
Warcraft.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is really the way I describe this to other people, and sort of as we were sort of talking about ourselves. This was really sort of the peak of sort of the competition in gaming for us. This was
Mhm.
definitely the most serious sort of time we played in sort of games.
Because you had to put in so much time just to get that extra 100 gold to get a tiny bit of an edge over someone else.
Yeah. Since we weren't really competing with ourselves, we were competing with millions of other people, because we had it in our minds that we weren't really going to stop until we were the best. So we would put in these insane hours. And by insane hours, we're talking about, we probably played something around like 40 hours on
It
a
was a
average
job.
week.
On top of school and homework and sports.
Yeah, and this wasn't really sort of just casual time spent on the game.
No.
This was, we were actively sort of going about trying to get things, when we were playing.
Very managerial roles in our guild.
Yeah, and so the other thing that was really happening, you have an average sort of raid, which was when you take yourselves and like 25 other people. It was actually 40 at the very beginning, but Blizzard sort of changed the size to require less people. But you wait for all these mostly grown adults, and then you'd log on a certain time, and then you would raid.
For
play
us,
the
it
game
was
for like
Tuesdays,
5 hours.
Thursdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, and Saturdays, I think.
We'd
until
get,
we sort of
we
changed
would
it.
get all our homework done on Monday, log on right after school or right after sports on Thursday or Tuesday, play from 4 to 9, sometimes 10, and go to bed.
Yeah, and it was literally sort of just rinse and repeat, and we had this really sort of this system figured out where we would plan our homework, and credit to us, I guess, for sort of balancing that and still
Yeah.
not failing out of school. We would have to sort of manage our homework to the point where we could sort of just give these 5 hours on a given night to just playing a game. And as we were sort of talking, sort of like trying to decide whether this was a good thing or a bad thing, I think what really sort of became apparent was that
The family time. That was probably the worst part.
yeah, there are a lot of issues that came with playing that much.
Yeah, because we have family dinners, and playing from 4 to 9, 4 days a week. You're missing out on more than half of the family dinners per week.
Right.
And sometimes my grandpa would come over, and had to blow them off because I was committed to these 24 other people, sometimes 30,
Right.
35
And
other people.
you know, we the way we saw it, we were like, oh well, I mean, come on. I mean, we're about to kill, Archimond or whatever. I mean, now obviously that's more important than a dinner. But that's obviously not how our family saw it. And
We could be
my
world ranked, but they just see us we're just playing some computer game.
yeah, I mean my dad especially was he wasn't ever sort of like I mean he always sort of respected the whole gaming thing just because I mean I was able to keep my grades, keep my sports, and was still able to do this. So he was like, well, hey, whatever you do in your free time is up to you. But that sort of caused some problems when he makes some dinner that he's really proud of, and then he calls me over for dinner. I'm like, oh no, sorry, I can't come. I mean, and then when that happens repeatedly over and over again, I mean, just my dad was like, why can't you pause this game? And I mean that was definitely a pretty big difference from like all the other games we played. There was no pausing. I mean, if I had to take a break, I need to tell 24 other people that they need to take a break, for 10 minutes. And then I'd hurriedly rush downstairs, try and eat my dinner in 10 minutes, which, is pretty insulting, to my dad, and then just run back upstairs again and, go into my little cave. And so, looking back at all sort of the time we invested in this, I mean,
would you do it again?
I see. I don't know. I don't know if I would do it again because even though we put in so much time, what a lot of people don't know is that I mean a lot of people are watching this right now and saying like, oh my god, 40 hours.
Total
Like
nerds.
how could you do that sort of to yourself? There are a lot of people out there who are probably like, I couldn't even play that much games even if I wanted to.
Yeah, your eyes would bug out.
Yeah, so I mean, but the thing is though that once you put in so much time, I mean, imagine 2 weeks. No, okay, like 3 weeks of 40 hours a week where you're actually like hardcore playing, for like 20 of those hours where you're like actively trying to kill, some boss. The other 20 hours are spent in like preparation for trying to kill that boss. And then when those 20 hours when you're actually trying to kill this person, you're spending hours and hours and hours
head against the keyboard,
continuously failing to do so.
Yeah.
And you can't kill the boss. But then after 120 hours, think of like how long that is, which takes place on top of homework, which takes place on top of sports. After 120 hours of just failing and feeling horrible and miserable,
and just like getting really pissed off at all the people who are messing up for whatever reason.
But then
and then
you kill them.
And then we were ranked like 123 in the world, and it's just that feeling of satisfaction just feels so good.
Matt and I and our friends were part of a guild or this group that was extremely successful. And there was a point
16 million people who play, we were in the 123rd position.
We were at a point where we had to dedicate so much time, but we were also very sort of skillful at the game, and so were the people we played with. So we were at a very competitive level. Everything was a race. It was a race to see who could kill the boss first. And so after hours and hours of failing, you finally kill that boss, and you have such... I mean, it's really hard to just... Oh, we have a visitor.
Meet my younger sister, Clara.
Michael has to watch me on the slide.
Say hi, Clara.
Hi.
Yeah. So,
All right, now you have to go leave.
Clara,
No.
come on.
No.
Come on, Clara. I'll take you. Let's go. Come on.
Back
They're
to
making a video.
what I was
I have
saying
socks on.
until we had the cute bomb.
I have socks on.
She has socks. She has socks on.
They're purple.
They're purple socks. But what I was saying, you spend these hours and hours and hours, and then finally you're rewarded with the sense of knowing exactly sort of where you stand in comparison to everyone else. We knew that we were better than almost every single person who played this game. And when there are that many people who play this game, and you can say, hey, these other people put in just as much time as we did,
But they're just
But
worse. We're better.
we were able to accomplish it. I mean, it was
And then we
such
were
a
assholes and then paraded our victory.
Oh yeah,
around the
I mean,
place.
with that, I mean, you sort of parade some of the stuff that you may have gotten off that boss, and people look at you like, oh, yeah, and you're like, yeah, yeah, what's up?
There's this thing where you can type something, so right by your name it says you're away, and so you can see who's targeting you to see who's inspecting your gear. So you
Oh,
just
yeah.
sit there in front of our computer pretending to be away,
Yeah.
seeing who would target us.
Seeing who would look at us and be like, yeah, you see what I have, you know I'm better than you. But just okay, so for the whole rating scene, and I mean that's really what I mean. We were asking ourselves earlier. I mean, would we ever sort of go back and sort of like,
If I had the chance to do
Do
it
that
again,
again.
and I was in 8th grade again, I would. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's shaped me so much. Just
yeah, well, see, and that I mean that's the
some
tough
of the
part.
best memories I've had.
But that's also, I
Playing a
mean,
computer game.
the good thing that the viewers can look at this and sort of, I mean, sort of decide for yourselves. I mean, one of those times I felt most excited was after playing this game. It was where you put in such an insane amount of time that borders on the unhealthy. Borders on the fact that, oh my God, this is crazy. But I mean, when you finally get that kill, when you finally
Yeah.
win.
Pass each other in the hallways and be like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was, but at the same time, since we're putting in so much time, there were a lot of social aspects
Yeah.
that you sort of
I mean,
you have to give up when you
we probably
when you have
developed
that.
more socially. via the
Well, yeah.
computer.
I mean that's the next section we're going to be talking about next Monday, and we're going to be talking about sort of the social aspects of WoW, because WoW, although may have its its shortcomings and whatever, it definitely matured me in
Yeah.
an insane way.
Like
I
way,
mean, there's
way faster than
that was a crash course in like dealing with sort of weird people.
Yeah.
It- yeah.
really, really.
And so
Weird
yeah, we're
people.
so 12 minutes. We're pretty long right now. So we'll wrap it up with saying, I mean, WoW, the competitive gaming of WoW was the most competitive it's ever been for either of us. That was the peak of our gaming,
Yeah.
where we put in insane amount of hours, but still
We got so much satisfaction out of it.
we felt a lot of satisfaction out of it. So I mean, it's up to the viewers to decide whether that is healthy, whether you would do the same thing, whether you do it differently. It's up to you guys. I mean, we did it our way, and we'll see you guys
Cool.
Monday.
Just
talking
put some
about
stuff in
social
the
aspects.
comments down below if you feel you need to. All right. See you guys later.
See ya.